Hey guys, it's Courtney King here with King Realty and Management. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Wanted to just jump in and share just some thoughts and conversations that I've had with people recently. I am not lying when I say at least once every week I hear some complaint about, oh my gosh, these millennials this, or these older people that, and I'm like, wait, whoa. And I just thought about our unique approach to real estate here at King Realty. And really, that's a multi-generational approach. So you've got my dad, you guys have seen him on a lot of my videos. He's actually the one that really influenced me into going into real estate, and then also obviously taking over King Realty, which I love. And so his generation is the baby boomer generation, right? My generation is the millennials. And in my conversation, both with friends, clients, and even other real estate agents, oftentimes I just hear all of this like conflict between the generations. And I guess my perspective is a little bit different because I definitely see value in all of the generations. I mean, the value in my dad's generation, for example, the baby boomers, the value that I get from my dad in particular is just the experience, right? In his era growing up and in his young adult life when he was my age, things were a lot different than what I experienced. But there are some things that he experienced that he's able to relate to me, to help me learn and also help me interact with other people from his generation. On the flip side, I'm a millennial and we are, all about social media and the digital age, and just definitely a different perspective, a different time that we're living in for sure. And I see even my dad glean some things from me and my generation to help him in his everyday life and even business interactions. So how we approach this or use this, I guess, in our day-to-day business and helping buyers buy properties and sellers sell their home is just really taking our two perspectives and merging them using all of those valuable qualities in each perspective and each generation to help our clients achieve what they're trying to achieve. So for example, when it comes to helping sellers, a lot of the sellers that I work with are my dad's generation. And so understanding their perspective and their philosophy, and I know that's kind of like generalized, right? Everybody's a little bit different, but understanding how they approach the sales process, how they approach determining what the price is going to be, how they approach the entire sale from a not only an emotional perspective, but also just the way they approach things, right? Might be a little bit different. And so having his perspective to say, hey, this is what we're going to do to sell your property. These are the steps. This is what our recommendation is in terms of price. He's able to connect with those sellers. At the same time, I'm also able to connect just because of the perspective that my dad shares with me. But a lot of the buyers, not in every case, but a lot of the buyers are millennials or maybe somebody slightly older than me. And so from a marketing perspective, and we're just talking about sellers looking to sell their home, I'm able to come in and say, okay, this is how we will want to market your property to reach the widest audience possible. And these are some creative things that we can do using technology. And so that's the multi-generational approach, and I think that really helps us because it helps us have a really well-rounded perspective when it comes to the real estate market and also when it comes to our clients that we help. So this is just something that I just thought about, and how cool it is that we get an opportunity to really have that multi-generational approach here at King Realty. Last but not least, I'm reminded of an agent here in Houston that I was talking to her on the phone. She represented the buyer that was making an offer on my listing, and I represented the seller. And she was like, these millennials, like, they don't ever pick up their phone, and they don't do this, that, and the other. And she goes, oh, you must not be a millennial because you're not behaving like that. And I'm like, she goes, how old are you? And I told her my age, and she goes, oh. So I told her, I said, we can't necessarily generalize all millennials as being bad, even though I think a lot of the older generations may think that. But I think it's about understanding the different perspectives and placing value on those different perspectives. I think sometimes differences make people angry or make people like at odds. But if we understand that there's a purpose to the differences, then maybe we can kind of come to some common ground and say, okay, I don't see it like that, but thank you for sharing your perspective. So anyway, that story is just on a whole nother tangent, but I'm excited that we get to take a multi-generational approach with the buyers that we help and the sellers and even the investors that we help. If I can be a resource to you as a millennial, or my dad can be a resource to you as a baby boomer, definitely reach out to us. We are online at kingrealtytx.com. We're all over social media. YouTube is at kingrealtytx, Instagram at kingrealtydfw, and at kingrealtyhtx. You're tuning in here on Facebook, facebook.com/kingrealtyandmanagement, all spelled out. And we're just going to continue to give you some rich content. I'm super excited to share next week's video, which has to do with a little bit of a commentary and perspective on today's market, because I've been in touch with some people that are low-key like freaking out. But you don't have to. And I think this perspective is going to shed a little bit of light and maybe the millennial perspective, but maybe give you some thoughts about what's going on in our market right now, because it is changing. So I don't think it's anything to fear, but just evaluate all the different viewpoints. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week.